And the Detroit Opera House is in jeopardy of closure. Hi, I'm Aubrey Call.
And I'm Caitlin Connon, and this is your Public Eye News at 4. Red flag warnings were in effect for much of the central and western Upper Peninsula on Saturday. The warnings were issued for Marquette, Baraga, Ontonagon, Gogebic, Iron, Dickinson, Menominee, and southern Houghton counties. Local firefighters battled wildfires across the area, including an 8-acre blaze at K.I. Sawyer and 2 smaller fires near Felch and Powers. The conditions on Saturday were conducive to wildfires, with temperatures in the low 70s, winds of 10 to 20 miles per hour, and humidity at about 25%. The cause of all 3 fires is under investigation. The discussion of urban chicken husbandry is set to continue tomorrow during a meeting of the Marquette City Planning Commission. The topic resurfaced among city commissioners last month when Commissioner Robert Niemi said he would support a planning commission to investigate. The Planning Commission was already set to review the idea, according to City Planner David Stensis. The review would be part of a rewriting of the city master plan and zoning ordinance. The master plan will be broad-based and focus on what concepts that will be embraced by the community. The Planning Commission hopes to complete this process by the end of the year.
The Detroit Opera House is in jeopardy of closure. The Michigan Opera Theater owes a total of $11 million in mortgage payments by May 31st. So far, the Opera House has raised $5 million, and to make the payment at the end of the month, it needs to raise $6 million more. That is over $130,000 per day. The original mortgage was held with local banks, but these mortgages have been transferred to larger corporations away from the Detroit area. Big Ten school Michigan State University has made a proposal for an urban agricultural research center in Detroit. The project would aim to make Detroit a research center devoted to growing food inside cities. The research center would start under 10 acres and potentially grow to cover 100 acres. Detroit officials were provided a draft of the plan, which they say has potential but requires further exploration.
Jury selection has begun for the trial of a West Michigan father in the disappearance of his baby daughter last year. More than 80 potential jurors were called in for the trial of Sean Phillips of Victory Township. Phillips is facing charges of unlawful imprisonment in the disappearance of his daughter, Catherine Phillips. Catherine was 4.5 months old when she was last seen on June 29th with Phillips. She lived with her mother in Ludington, and even after extensive searches, she still hasn't been found. The trial is expected to last until the end of next week. And a husband and wife are expected to enter pleas in court today after being accused of torturing the man's daughter and forcing her to live in their basement. The Madison couple is expected to appear in court to respond to charges of reckless endangerment, child abuse, and child neglect. Prosecutors are also accusing the girl's stepbrother of sexually assaulting her. He is expected to enter pleas to a charge of child abuse and 2 charges of sexual assault at the same proceeding. To avoid identifying the girls, none of the accused are being named. She was 15 when she was found wandering barefoot in February, underdressed and underweight. And after the break, we'll take our usual Monday look at economics.
And you'll get a look at the trial that has just begun in Norway. Stay tuned.
Weddings are really special. They're like a window entering into a specific culture.
Join me for 4 very different wedding celebrations. Together we'll experience the different foods, the unique traditions, and the joy of celebration. Come with me as we celebrate America.
Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern.
And welcome back. The 116th Boston Marathon sent out 22,426 runners today, despite the extreme heat. Temperatures for this year's race reach highs peaking at 82 degrees. The marathon was won by Kenyan runners Wesley Korir with a time of 2 hours and 12 minutes and Sharon Sharop, who finished in 2 hours and 31 minutes. NMU grad student Chad Bowman completed the marathon today in 3 hours and 6 minutes. Bowman, who qualified for Boston at last year's Fall Marquette Marathon, said, "It's the toughest course I've ever run." Marathon officials urged racers to be cautious when deciding whether or not to compete due to weather conditions. About 4,000 runners opted not to run this year. and blame the rise of retail purchases and the rise of gas prices on a taste of spring fever. Alexis Christophers has more with your CBS Money Watch.
Stocks are mixed after a surprise increase in retail sales last month. The government says sales rose 0.8% despite rising gas prices. Warmer weather and a recovering job market pushed sales to a record high of more than $411 billion. There was strong demand for clothing, garden equipment, and building materials. Citigroup is reporting a profit of $2.9 billion, slightly below expectations. But the bank says more customers are paying back their loans on time. Confidence among home builders slipped in April for the first time in 7 months. Many builders expect sales to slow down in the next 6 months. They're struggling to compete with foreclosures, which are pushing down overall home prices. And shares of Mattel are sharply lower after the toy maker reported a 53% drop in quarterly earnings. Results were hurt by lower sales of Barbies and Hot Wheels. The company is also still absorbing its recent buyout of Hit Entertainment. That's the company behind Bob the Builder and Thomas the Tank Engine. And that's your Money Watch. For more, go to cbsmoneywatch.com. In New York, I'm Alexis Christophers.
According to AAA Michigan, gasoline prices rose about 3 cents during the past week to a statewide average of $3.93 per gallon. The Auto Club said today that the average is about 2 cents per gallon less than last year at this time. However, according to surveys, the cheapest price for self-serve unleaded fuel is in the Marquette area at $3.86 per gallon. The highest is in Lansing area at $3.99. A terror trial has begun in Norway for the man who admits killing 77 people last summer. Survivors and victims' families packed the 200-seat courtroom. CBS's Tina Kraus reports from London.
Anders Behring Breivik smiled as a guard removed his handcuffs, then gave a defiant, closed-fist salute as his trial began in a packed Oslo courtroom.
Hva arbeider du med?
Breivik told the court he killed 77 people in a bombing and shooting spree in Norway last summer, but he pleaded not guilty to criminal charges, saying he acted in self-defense to save the country from a Muslim takeover. Breivik wiped away tears when prosecutors showed an anti-Muslim video he posted on YouTube before the killing spree. Lawyers showed a map of Utoya Island and detailed Breivik's movements as he attacked teenagers at a political summer camp. Victims and their families sat behind a thick glass barrier in a courtroom built specifically for the trial.
The last time I saw him in person, I saw him shoot and kill my friends. So it's it's tough, but it's also important to get through it.
Breivik posed as a police officer as he hunted down and killed dozens on Utoya Island after bombing a government building in Oslo. He told investigators he was part of a far-right militant group, but police believe he acted alone. The 33-year-old will testify Tuesday. Lawyers say he will not apologize for his actions and wants to prove he is sane. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
The Swiss-based commodities company Glencore International plc has rejected claims by 2 non-governmental groups who say the company profits from child labor and lacks safety. Bread for All and the Swiss Catholic Lenten Fund say a Zambian subsidiary of Glencore buys copper ore from artisanal mines, including some in the Tilwazembe area. Their report claims that these miners, who include children, are exploited by middlemen and work under dangerous and unhealthy conditions. Glencore spokesman Simon Burke states that the company doesn't buy copper ore from these mines and takes measures to ensure none of it can enter its supply chain by other means. And after the break, Trent will have your weather outlook and John has the latest in sports. Stay with us.
It was a very, very important symbol of what could be done in a world that had gone all to hell.
In the midst of the Great Depression, in deadly conditions, Americans would build a 60-story colossus that would change the West forever.
There were many people who said it was physically impossible to build.
Hoover Dam on American Experience.
Join us Tuesday evening at 9.
And welcome back. As you can see, a very nasty day outside with the wind blowing and the snow falling, but hopefully we're going to see a warm up on the way. I'm Trent Potscale with your weather. Taking a look outside, currently we're seeing some light freezing rain and wind with a temperature of 27, winds out of the north-northwest at 20, gusting to 29 miles per hour, and the barometric pressure at 29.43 and holding steady. For tonight, we're going to see some snow showers with a low of 25 and again winds out of the northwest blowing hard at 24 miles per hour. For tomorrow, we're going to see mostly sunny skies, high of 45 with the winds out of the west-southwest at 11 miles per hour. Taking a look around the area currently, it's 56 in the Sioux, 47 in Manistee, 48 in Escanaba, 51 in Menominee, 31 over here in Iron Mountain, 26 in Ironwood, 25 up in Houghton, and a nice 27 back here in Marquette. Taking a look at your work week forecast, Wednesday we're going to see some rain and wind with a high of 47 and a low of 34. Thursday we're going to see some showers with a high of 43 and a low of 32. And Friday some partly cloudy skies with a high of 41 and a low of 29. So we're going to see a little bit of a warm up, but it's a good thing basketball played inside with all this weather.
That's right, Trent. It's not ideal conditions for outside hoops.
That's right.
I'm John Young with your sports. It was an action-packed weekend of basketball in Negaunee as 10 teams competed for the chance to be crowned 2012 Class B NIT champion. Former Division I, II, and III athletes treated fans to an exciting 3 days of basketball. With players coming from all over the Midwest, it was a team of local players that were able to win for the title for the second year in a row. Stonehouse Window and Door of Ishpeming cruised to a 175 victory over Detroit II. Stonehouse was led by former Marquette High School star and Michigan Tech standout Tim Strom, who won the Class B MVP for the second year in a row. Former Negaunee High School and NMU star Bill Hill also helped Stonehouse pick up the win as he was named to the All-Tournament team. The NITs resume on Friday as Class A action kicks off. Not many people will get the chance to throw the first pitch of a Major League Baseball game. Many people also don't live to see 100. Bill Hogan Jr. did both on Saturday as a 100-year-old threw out the first pitch on his birthday at Fenway Park as the Boston Red Sox took on the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Fenway Park is currently the oldest Major League stadium in use as it opened in 1912. Hogan was born 6 days before the stadium opened its doors, bringing a new definition to lifelong fan. The medical staff at Brookhaven Retirement Center in Lexington, Massachusetts has been working with Hogan for the last month to get his arm ready for the big pitch. The Red Sox didn't disappoint their lifelong fan as they beat the Rays 13-5. Northern Michigan University Athletics Department held their Student Athlete Award banquet last Saturday. Each year, a female and male athlete take home the distinguished honor of being named Athlete of the Year. Chelsea Lyons, a senior, captured the award on the women's side as she excelled in both soccer and basketball this season. Lyons was the first-team All-GLIAC selection for basketball as she led the team in scoring at 16.9 points per game. Lyons clipped the 20-point mark 7 times this season. She was also named All-GLIAC second team in soccer as she led the team with 7 goals. Soderman, a sophomore, captured the award on the male side as he was the NCAA national champion in the freestyle skiing event. So, Aubrey, what's to say here about the key to successful marriage?
Well, it's a pretty amazing story. Their secret is out after more than 83 years. Eunice and Lloyd Ford eloped one night in April of 1929. Now 102 and 100 years old, the Fords recently celebrated their 83rd anniversary. So what's the secret to their long and happy marriage? They say that they never fight. The Fords tell a Texas paper they also eat fresh produce from their garden and get plenty of rest. And keep it clean. That's the order to some Wisconsin students heading to the prom. The students are being required to sign a code of conduct that bans dirty dancing. Students from 3 high schools in Wausau area must sign the document before they can purchase prom tickets. One student tells a local paper the code is a good idea, but another doubts it will be effective.
It's very interesting. I remember my high school prom. It was a very good time.
We'll see if the code's actually effective or not.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and if other schools will adapt to it eventually as well.
I don't really know how you would stop how they dance, you know? I mean, it's going to take a lot of parental supervision.
Well, a lot of teacher supervision.
Yeah, that too.
Right. Well, that's all the time we have for today. For Pelican News, we'll see you here tomorrow at 4.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center.